I am so excited today because ever since I saw videos of this monitor at CES, I was hooked. Now, it's more to do with the dual mode feature that really intrigued me because being able to switch between 4K at 240Hz to 1080p at 480Hz just feels unreal and insane. Half the time, when I'm looking for a new gaming monitor, I'm always having to pick between 32 inches or 27 inches. Would it be a 4K panel knowing that I'm sacrificing some FPS, or a 1080p panel knowing that I wouldn't get the clarity and high resolution I'd like? If I'm being completely honest, the choice for a gaming monitor mostly gets complicated when you're looking for one monitor that does a lot of things really well. Because if all you're looking to do is play FPS games, then a 27-inch at say about 540Hz like the Zowie XL25A6X or a 1440p at 300Hz is more than enough. But then this monitor is everything that I've been looking for. I mean, OLED at 32 inches with a 4K panel with two modes, one at 240Hz 4K, the other 1080p at 480Hz with speakers that are actually insane. For context, personally, I'm all for 32-inch monitors when it comes to gaming because I really want to be able to enjoy the more cinematic story-based games while gaming on a console. But I really want high refresh rates when I switch over to sweaty FPS games, especially after upgrading my gaming PC to this beast with the RTX 4090, Ryzen 7800 X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, and 6 terabytes SSD. Now, I'll have the full specs of this monitor listed in the description because I really want to focus on what makes this monitor different. I have to say, this is my first OLED monitor, and better still, one with this sort of matte coat finish, which I'll admit is very different from the quality on, say, an OLED TV with a glossy panel, but still nowhere close to that hazy look and feel that you get from a 4K IPS monitor. The colors on this OLED monitor are actually fantastic, and as someone who is constantly working with colors as a designer and who's also constantly editing videos and color grading, the colors on this screen really look good. While I got this monitor specifically for gaming, it's nice to know that I can also edit videos on it as well. It's also quite slim with a slight curve at the back and really doesn't look like a gaming monitor. I mean, there's very little branding on it. It has slim, almost edge-to-edge bezels, which enhances the viewing experience and has this super clean look with its understated design at this setup. Next is my favorite feature, the reason why I was excited about this monitor in the first place, the dual mode feature. Basically, with a single button, you can switch between two completely different modes. And honestly, going from 240Hz to 480Hz really feels different, kind of like two monitors in one. I'll just say this, 1080p at 32 inches is weird and looks fuzzy, especially around text, but not as bad as I thought, especially after playing for about an hour or two. I really didn't notice it anymore. Honestly, I'm mostly playing Call of Duty and Shatterline on that mode, which are super competitive and sweaty, so I'd appreciate every single FPS I can squeeze out of this PC and monitor over a higher resolution. The dual switch option has 3 modes where you can toggle between 1080p at 32 inches full wide, 1080p with a 27-inch crop, and 1080p at 24 inches, all at the same 480Hz. However, I found that the screen is way more fuzzy in the 27 and 24-inch mode, so I mostly found myself playing at the full 32-inch mode. If you are someone who's used to playing on a smaller screen like a 27 or 24-inch monitor, you'll find that either pushing the monitor or sitting further away from the screen would be a much more comfortable experience. Another thing I thought was quite surprising was the sound coming from the inbuilt speakers that are, get this, directly behind the monitor screen. LG is calling it their Pixel sound technology. At first, I thought this was going to be some sort of gimmick, but it's actually fantastic. Just listen. For some context, this is a sound quality coming from my ultra-wide monitor. My previous gaming monitor had no inbuilt speakers, which I found extremely annoying, especially on days where I didn't feel like wearing headsets. But on this monitor, I like that the sound is channeled towards you because it's really just coming from the entire screen, which makes playing games at this setup really immersive. Which brings me to this point. If all you want to do is play FPS games at a higher refresh rate and you do not care about 4K or doing any kind of creative work with your monitor, then you'll save way more money going for either a 1080p or a 1440p monitor with a natively high refresh rate, because at the time of recording, this monitor costs $1,400. But if you are like me and you're looking for a single monitor that does it all, then this monitor is great for that use case and quite practical as well, especially because of the dual mode feature, which is kind of like getting two monitors for the price of one. Now, even with all the fantastic things that I've just mentioned, if you are looking to get this monitor, there are a couple of things that I think you should be concerned about. First is burn-in, which is typical with OLED monitors and is said to happen when you leave a particular visual on the screen for way too long. That visual burns into the screen such that you can still see it faintly even after you've turned off the screen. Prior to getting this monitor and filming this video, I confirmed on their website that their warranty does in fact cover burn-in issues. Another thing to consider, which I mentioned earlier in this video, is that the use case for a gaming monitor like this is quite niche. Here's what I mean. Anyone who's looking for a gaming monitor is in fact just looking for that, a gaming monitor. So depending on the type of games that you enjoy, for instance, if it's more story-based games, then probably getting an OLED TV would be a much better option because you get to save some cash. But if you're looking for a gaming monitor mainly for competitive FPS games, then going for a 1080p or a 1440p with a natively high refresh rate would be a much better option. Save some cash and call it a day. Again, if you're looking for one monitor that does it all, then this monitor is exactly that.